11,848, 11,849, 11,850, 11,851, 11,852.
Greeting over your orthicon tube.
This is Jack Lemmon speaking. There was no one like Ernie Kovacs. I'd never met anyone like him before, nor have I since. He was television's own original madcap from 1950 until he died in 1962. In the early 50s, most of Ernie's shows were aired live before a studio audience, and they were recorded only on kinescope right off the air. Tonight, on the air again, here's Ernie's upside-down view of the world in all its silly glory. A look at Ernie Kovacs, the early years.
When there's a new show scheduled like this, NBC releases a whole schedule to the newspapers a couple of weeks in advance, and as with our shows, the opening date is printed. And then you receive a lot of calls from agents and managers who have various acts they feel might go well on the show. There's always such a variety that it's hard to pick the best ones. It wasn't too easy to pass up some of them either. There was Mimo, an elephant that does imitations, Bing Crosby, Fred Astaire, the whole thing, and we had to throw him out. He would have worked with peanuts. A trampoline act. A trampoline act was just about one of the most interesting I ever saw. 4 fellas bounced up. Just up. In fact, it's the last we ever saw them. The trampoline's still around here. Everybody keeps tripping over it. And then there was... Well, that's this guy, him. We told him that we didn't want to do it. We told him, no, it doesn't. A dozen times, but he's so darn persistent. Keeps auditioning. Guy keeps auditioning all the time. It's the reason why we didn't hire him. He's not the most accurate guy in the world, you know? Well, with calls from agents about acts for the show, we began receiving also from our future viewers some suggested acts that they would like to see on television. After reading a lot of the letters, we got kind of interested in the thing, and some of the acts, we thought it might not be a bad idea to pick up the unusual ones and put them on the program. The 3 acts we have picked were not familiar to anyone on the network, but we do believe they'll be as exciting to see as they appear to be in the letters that we received about them. So perhaps with a fanfare by Harry Sosnick, we might... Our first guest was suggested by Mr. Roger Brannigan of Fiddler's Ravine, Wisconsin. I'll read a portion of his letter, if I may. I've always been a great lover of chess and checkers, as is my father and was his father before him. Dad and I were discussing the brilliant career of the great Russian chess player the other evening, Konstantin Chichornia. I read somewhere where Mr. Chichornia, who was only 30 years old, can play 4 champion chess players and beat all of them in only 3 moves. Furthermore, Mr. Chichornia can do this while being blindfolded. I think you would make an excellent act for your first show, Mr. Brannigan. Well, Mr. Brannigan, the production staff on the show liked the idea, went right ahead to work, and we have not only located Mr. Chichornia, but also 4 of the top-ranking chess players who are here for the big chess tournament to take place in August. They've already made their first move, and they're studying the board for the move they will make after Konstantin Chichornia makes his first play. This is Bela Kolbas, the famous Hungarian chess expert. And this is Wilhelm Grosinger, the noted German chess champion. And here, also deep in strategy, is Armand Toulouse, the celebrated French champion. And last, the well-known representative from the United States, Leonard Kosnowski. All 4 men are noted for their brilliant tactical moves, their first moves particularly, and indeed, Konstantin Chichornia is up against the best 4 international chess players alive today. Mr. Chichornia has been deep in thought for several minutes and will signal us when he is ready to begin play. Mr. Ciccone is ready. The 4 champions have studied the board, all ready for their second move, which they will make after Constantine Ciccone, the brilliant chess genius, makes his first move.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are broadcasting from the elegant Regal Room at the Sheraton Riviera, where the unveiling of Clevo Digor's new Ultra Bikini bathing suit will take place. There's quite a bit of tension here among the crowd, as rumor has it that the new Digor bikini suit will be even briefer than his creation of last year, which was outlawed by the police. As an added bit of excitement, rumor also has it that the new brief swimsuit will be modeled by Gina Lollobrigida. There's a rustle at the curtain. Miss Lollobrigida is about to step through the curtain wearing the new Digor bikini. Here she comes.
Guten Nacht, meine Frau, Frau's und Hepkatzen. Das ist ein Zusatzjockey Wolfgang Sauerbraten. Das alles nach Recordspieler mit der großen Hit-Tune, der Bebop, der Cha-Cha und alles der Hepkatzenstoff, oder? Also mit Waltzes für die Squares. Aber bevor ich gemäken mit der Liebestod, hat es ein komische Story, die ich just gehört. Der zwei Bebopper, das erste Bebopper, ich spreche zu das zwei Bebopper. Heinrich, tellen Sie mir, wo was der Liebchen ich was sing du mit der Orneit? Und das zwei Bebopper, ich spreche zu das erste Bebopper. Das ist nicht Liebchen, das ist meine Frau. No, huh? You lose so much in the translation. Aber hier ist eine Postalkarte. Mein lieber Wolfgang, du hast cool hair, cool. These just nuts about the record du hast all the time playing. Please play Sie the new hit, geständig auf der Corner watching alles the Fräulein goose stepping by. Wie lieber du sein Fritz, Johanne, Gerda, Kurt, Sieger, Wilhelm, Bertha, Pedro und all the Frauen und Frauen, die Luigi's Brau hat. Ich habe Sie eine Recording, this geständig auf der Corner watching all the goose stepping going by with Harry Sasnick und die Sasnick Boomler. Nein? The Hepkatzen geben Sie mir die strictest attention. From the sponsor kommen Sie eine important message. You listen good, Wolfgang, get the axe, you know? Friends, du das gebrochen der Tooth mit Schnitzel Dent? Schnitzel Dent ist der Vierer Toothpaste. Wenn du usen Sie das Schnitzel Dent, der Tooth ist alles sparkling weiß. Listen Sie mir asking eine question. How many times in a day du gebruchen Sie the tooth?
Ich gebruchen Sie mein Tooth 2 times a day.
Ich gebruchen Sie mein Tooth 4 times a day.
Ich gebruchen Sie mein Tooth 700 times a day. Jawohl, Freund. Du gebruchen Sie the tooth 2 times a day, 4 times a day, oder du gebruchen Sie the tooth 700 times a day, usen Sie Schnitzel Dent. Hören du, was Hilde Grossmeier spricht.
Gucken Sie auf diesen Mann. Hier ist eine klare Mietbürger mit auf der Schnitzel Dent. Und hier ist der Mietbürger mit der Schnitzel Dent. So, you ain't making the time mit der Fräulein. Ja, buchen Sie der Tooth mit Schnitzel Dent.
Und one other thing, friends. Here is invisible shield. Das ist like the invisible shield in Schnitzel Dent that protected their tooth. Hilda? The Schnitzel Dent protected their tooth. Like this invisible shield is protected thee do mir from that bucket of water. So. When you buy the toothpaste, making sure to get the toothpaste with an invisible shield. Could I have a word to do, Hilda?
Heiße Johanna. Heiße weiße Johanna, das heiße Nachbar.
And away we...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Time once again for Mr. Question Man. All of the questions sent to Mr. Question Man are carefully tabulated in files. Some of them are read. Our first question comes from Mr. Arthur B. Koznowski of Macon, Indiana. Arthur B. Koznowski of Macon, Indiana writes, Dear Mr. Question Man, I am writing to you from inside a burning warehouse. Let me take a moment of your time to go back a bit. I bought this house 11 years ago in November. No, I believe it was February. Well, when I bought it, they told me that it was fireproof. By the way, please pardon the condition of this stationery. Well, at about 11 o'clock tonight, a fire broke out in the southern wing of the warehouse. It spread rapidly, and at this writing, I would say 96% of the warehouse is in flames. There goes another wall. I'm standing on the last 2 feet of flooring in the north wing, and I'd say that this will only last, 3 minutes. Perhaps 2 with a good wind. I really am at a loss to know what to do. And while I do not mean to press you, I would appreciate an answer at your earliest convenience. Best regards to you and Mrs. Question Man, Arthur Koznowski.
I am afraid that in the present day hurly-burly of rapid transactions, we sometimes put insufficient trust in those with whom we do business. Your real estate agent was telling the truth. By law, all warehouses in Macon, Indiana must be fireproof, so you have no cause for alarm. While I do not mean to appear severe, I am forced to say I feel a certain embarrassment for you and your attitude toward the real estate agent. Should you manage to survive for another moment or two, you might take the time to drop him a social note without mentioning your suspicions. I think that'd be awfully nice. At any rate, good to hear from one of our listeners in Indiana.
Trader Rogers of Upper Gun, South Africa writes, 1 year ago, I married Kino, the daughter of the cannibal chief of these parts. Living here has been rather confusing as they have different dates for holidays that I have been accustomed to. For instance, last week, the cannibals celebrated Easter. Next week, we're going to observe Thanksgiving. A point of etiquette has arisen. Kino's father, the chief, has suggested that we have the local missionary for Thanksgiving. Is this considered proper in the United States?
No, we're still eating turkey here.
Chief Bardoni El Swahili of the Wambisi tribe in equatorial South Africa has written an interesting letter. Dwanya Nagi Hagu, Inga Green Lakabondi, Lawana Tiganadu, Kabi Dig Navas Bonta, Motoloni Argu Diban,
Genda Ranyo Boro Dobilaka.
Mr. Nick Greco of Las Vegas, Utah, would like the answer to this question. I'm at this very moment playing table stakes poker with some very big gamblers. I have 3 queens, a 7, and a 4 in my hand. The man on my right drove all night from Wichita, Kansas to get in the game. I think he might be tiring a little now and not thinking too clearly. The man on my left took just 1 card, but he's known to play an unorthodox game. I figure him for just 2 pair, but he could be holding 3 of a kind. The pot has been raised 4 times already, twice by the man who drove from Wichita, once each by the man sitting across from me who might be bluffing. Considering that I'm holding 3 queens, do you think I should raise the pot 1 more time, call the man on my right, and then raise the man across from me, or just call and see who raises him, then raise, or should I raise the man on my left and then drop out if someone re-raises me? Well, that seems to be all the time we have for Mr. Question Man. Be sure to join us again when Mr. Question Man will answer such questions as, are Dave Garraway's those little seeds on rye bread? Is it proper to drink coffee in a T-shirt? Do they use real iodine on the medic? Does the DC-7 eat its young? And in a fair fight, could Rocky Marciano beat Charles Coburn?
People forget whose show they're on. Will some young man from the audience care to come up to assist me? And now the great Motzah will perform another great feat of magic. But first... better order another case of that. The great Motzah's running a little low. Thank you for your assistance, young man. No personal problems. I'm sorry, we just do magic tricks. Step down.
You didn't do the trick?
I know, she just told me. I don't need everybody telling me. All right, are there any questions about the next trick? You'll notice by a quick gesture, I have a pack of cards in my hand.
Right, very good.
Thank you. And now, you, sir. Think of a card. Think of a card. How are you coming?
I've got it narrowed down to two of them, but I can't decide which one. I think I've got it.
Good. No, I didn't mean that. Perhaps just a short one. There, young man, is the card you were thinking of.
Well, what card did you pull out?
What were you thinking of?
The 8 of clubs?
I guess many of you would like to know how I did that trick. Sorry. These secrets were handed down by an ancient Capuchin monk who would betray his secret world and bring them straight to my house. Thank you. Thank you for coming up from the audience. How about a little hand? Not while I'm working, please.
I insist.
Inspect this tube. Is it hollow?
Oh, yes, it is hollow, great master.
Is number 2 tube hollow?
Oh, yes, it is hollow, oh, great master.
And number 3 tube, is it hollow?
Oh, yes, it is hollow, oh, great master.
All 3 tubes are hollow. Thank you. This aged Capuchin monk was wise and wise in the ways of magic. One thing he told me. And as I stood with the aged Capuchin monk, watching Mount Etna, Mount Stromboli, and Mount McKinley in the sunset, all erupting simultaneously, I said, I'd like to know how to do that trick. And he said, Motzah, I like the cut of your gin. And so, perhaps there are some doubters among us. Have you ever seen me before?
No, I have never seen you before, oh, great master.
And have I ever seen you before?
No, you have never seen me before, oh, great master.
And have you ever been sawed in half? Have you ever been sawed in half?
Oh, well, give me a minute, will you?
What a grouch. All right. And now, I'm ready. Raise your right leg. Your right leg. All right. Now put your leg down. Put your leg down. Would someone from the audience care to come up and inspect this case? All right, now, the great Motzah will begin sawing. Are you ready, my dear?
Ready, God bless you.
Sawdust is making me sneeze.
What?
The sawdust is making me sneeze.
Well, I can't help it. I can't saw without sawdust. I'm no magician. A lot of the evening shows are done in color, and you folks who only have black and white TV sets are kind of being cheated. I don't know if we're on color or not tonight, but in case you just have a black and white set and don't have color, and we are in color...
mi, do, fa, si, re, si, mi, la, do, la, fa, re, sol, sol, do. Mi, sol, la, re, fa, re, sol, do, mi, do, fa, re, sol, sol. Mi, sol, la, re, fa, re, sol, do, mi, do, fa, re, sol, sol, do. Do, mi, fa, si, re, si, mi, la, do, la, fa, re, sol, sol. Do, mi, do, fa, si, re, si, mi, la, do, la, fa, re, sol, sol, do.
One of the things about doing a show like this is you finally come to that nice quiet thing at the end of the show where you know everything's on time now, nothing can go wrong. You just relax, and it's been one of those little things where you just take it easy and say, well, you're done, and where are we going after the show? And nothing can go wrong after the show. That's why I like the end of a show. It's that comfortable feeling. Now,
Greeting over your orthicon tube.
This is Jack Lemmon. Ernie Kovacs once told me, if you look at the world as if it were upside down, something funny might happen. But when he did, it did happen. Along with his illogical and unpredictable view of the world, he pushed the medium of television to its visual limits, and he created a batch of madcap characters. The program you're about to see was originally shown in January of 1962, shortly after his death. It was Ernie's last regularly scheduled broadcast. The program ends with one of television's most infamous musical groups, the Nairobi Trio.
The various art forms are playing an important part of our lives in this generation, and the artists, poets, musicians of our era have made tremendous strides forward. We've arranged to visit some of the more noted exponents of their crafts, and our first visit is with America's deep-feeling master of the descriptive phrase, poet Tension Brett. Here in Mr. Brett's suburban apartment is the birthplace of some of America's most beautiful poetry. Mr. Brett?
Yes.
I see you are rather deep in thought. Is it possibly on your current project?
Yes, an epic poem of esoteric meter.
What do you call it?
My epic poem?
Yes.
Dearth.
Dearth?
Dearth. May I read it for you?
Please do.
Dearth. Dearth the lack. O sheaves of wheat by wind, west wind, who sow what withal shall, and yet those who can or will not.
There's a great deal of truth in that, Mr. Brett.
Verdad, 11 years of work, but not to unavail.
11 years is a great dedication to a work.
The title took 5 years alone.
Do you have any other works we might discuss?
I do have a somewhat humorous piece, if I'm making no imposition.
Oh, not at all. That's why we're here. Well, what do you call this funny one?
A boss. A boss, and yet it was tintinnabulation. Wild of drum and leather thong, O ye welcome ye, canst ply thy cobbler to hail and hammer, hail, nail. 21, 21, oh, to vote again. So leapt my heart.
That's a real rib tickler, Mr. Brett. How do you compare this with Dearth?
Oh, not at all. Dearth is rooty, deep in root. A boss is a fillip of fancy, a flight, a poet's holiday kind of thing.
Well, it's been delightful visiting. We'll be looking forward to the publication of Dearth.
Verdad.
Our next visit is with America's famed painter, Mother Rustic. Mother Rustic, I see you're hard at work in your kitchen.
Land sakes, I didn't expect to see you so soon. Yeah, the men folk will be in from the fields in a half hour or so, and they'll be mighty hungry. Boy, that plowing, sowing, and reaping sure works up appetites. I just milked 40 black Anguses myself. Sure beats squeezing a tennis ball for building a grip. I can crack walnuts with my cuticles. Name your finger.
Well, I'm sure you can, Mother Rustic.
You ought to drop in during the pig killing. You can't turn around without bumping into a stack of spare ribs or a mess of pork chops. I killed 80 pigs last year with one shot apiece with a croquet mallet. Land sakes, we had more fun. Yeah.
I like roast pig very much, but when do you find time to paint?
Oh, well, my favorite time is just about when I get finished slopping the hogs. That's when I get a good north light.
Well, what subjects do you paint?
Well, I like to paint what I know. You know, local stuff. Stuff you see around you all the time. It's the only stuff I know, I guess.
May we see some of your paintings?
Oh, land sakes. Well, they ain't much. But if you like, come over this way. This here one is one I done of our old silo. I call it Old Silo. This here one is sheep. I guess it's pretty silly putting obvious titles on them. Sheepdog and wolf. Newborn calf. Poor little critter died last year. It's the only picture we have of her. This here one is spring plowing. County fair. Hoedown. And this last one here I think is just about my best. When day is done. Well, land sakes, I've been here chewing too long. Them men folks should be sitting down. And then, chow time, come and get it. Chow time! Chow time!
The art of sculpture, too, has seen considerable progress. Since neophyte sculptors gazed in awe at Michelangelo's David, Rodin's Thinker, and the countless other fine representations of the human form in stone, the sculptor stands alone, for it is only he, with his chisel, who turns cold, stark marble into the rippling arteries of human life. Let us stop in at the studio of the noted Hungarian sculptor, Miklos Molnar.
Mr. Molnar, forgive our interruption, but all America is interested in your work.
What?
I said, forgive our interruption.
I heard that part. What was last part?
All America is interested in your work. What is that you're working on?
What do you think? Chicken paprikash. It's a statue.
I know that, Mr. Molnar. I mean, what do you call it?
Like everybody else call it a statue. What do you think?
Well, I think our viewers would be particularly interested...
Tell your nuts viewers to go watch Popeye cartoons on TV.
Sir,
What's the matter? You got something nuts upstairs?
Sir, it's just that you've been the exponent of so many new phases of sculpture. For instance, why do you have that large hole in this statue?
I make mistake. What do you think? I'm nuts? I put hole in statue. You know people what got hole in statue? They die in stomach. They die 6 minutes. They could not breathe. They could not eat. What's the matter? You nuts upstairs?
Well, sir,
look,
it's
please go. Take your TV camera. Get out, please.
But sir, Sir,
Mother!
Are you stuck, sir?
Mother! I'm stuck! Where's my wife? Mother! Mother!
Standing around the office and I saw you, and I think you're one of the nicest bosses that in the whole, from the typing pool.
You know, Sylvia, there's nothing that I wouldn't do for you. And of course, I must confess, a man in my position can do quite a bit for a young lady who's willing to get ahead and who's excellent typist such as you are.
I had hoped you'd notice because, well, I know that you have a wife and all that, but it's business, you know.
Well, of course, my wife doesn't understand me, not like you do, Sylvia.
Somehow I felt that she couldn't be the type to suit a man like yourself.
Well, that's true, although she does like music. You like music?
And now a word from our alternate sponsor. Try a box today.
I knew I was on. I was just enjoying myself. How many times can you look surprised? Let's face it. There's a wonderful group here. They always put the little olive on the end of this daisy. If he loves me, it's a fake daisy, isn't it? I guess this would be all right if you're in love with a plastic briefcase. Of course, that's ridiculous. Because you see very few attractive plastic briefcases anymore. Well, it certainly is good to be here giving clues again. I was reminiscing just before we began preparing ourselves for this. All of the wonderful ads used to run rampant through magazines. How to become a hotel executive after 35. Be a detective. Follow that man. Those were the ways to make a living. Now then, I would like to give discourse in the way of a poem. Poetry is like music. There's so many wonderful songs we all remember. Beautiful dreamer, your fun never stopped. But put out the butt now because here come the cops. But here I have a poem which is for our guest today, and I will read it to you now. They must have dipped the needle in some pancake batter there. Seemed to slurp right in, didn't it? So it destroyed the illusion that we have a live orchestra, doesn't it? Here is the poem. You're having quite a bit. I think that extra bottle of martini that was here, I think I know where it's gone. It's up there in the control room. Excuse me. Oh, sometimes I wish I were a dog, a boxer or a cocker spaniel, or perhaps a German Spitz, or maybe a Chihuahua named Manuel. I met a girl named Doberman, and without a doubt, it's a cinch her, figures the greatest I've ever seen. Now I wish I were a Doberman Pinscher.
Und der Haifisch, der hat Zähne und die trägt er im Gesicht. Und McKees, der hat ein Messer, aber das Messer sieht man nicht. Und McKees, der hat ein Messer, doch das Messer sieht man nicht. Und die minderjährige Witwe, deren Namen jeder weiß, wachte auf und war geschändet. Mackie, welches war dein Preis? Wachte auf und war geschändet. Mackie, welches war dein Preis?